Hey everyone, I'm Kim Jacobs, and I am doing an overview for you regarding a coronavirus resource guide. As the Balance Doctor, I like to make sure that I keep all of my customers, clients, families, church members, friends, everyone that I can informed regarding things that I know are important to the community. So I've spent quite a bit of today's time doing some research on the coronavirus, COVID-19, and wanted to make sure that I give you all a formal update on everything that I've been able to. And I've learned a lot more, but I didn't want to spend a whole bunch of time, but I wanted to make sure that I give you some beneficial information. Now, if you see me turning my head from this device to this device, it's because I'm actually on two different social media outlets, okay? And by all means, you can share either of these with your friends, your family members, coworkers, church members, and encourage them to watch this video at their leisure. And I try to do it almost as a one-stop shop type of thing. So you will see me capturing some information from these notes that I've taken. Coronavirus, COVID-19, is classified as a global pandemic status. Anytime something is classified as pandemic, we obviously want to spend more time with our family, our loved ones, get as close as possible to everyone that we can, to let people know that, we don't know when things can transpire or elevate or escalate, because we're not in control of those things. So obviously the biggest thing I would encourage you to do is pray and make sure that you love on your family and your friends and everyone, because we don't know how long in life any of us have. And that's not about the coronavirus. That's just about life in itself. Life is short and time is very limited. So make sure that you love on your loved ones. President Trump declared a national state of emergency at this point. On Friday, he declared a national state of emergency, and he says that it's obviously been spreading throughout the United States, and the numbers are at 2,420 when I last checked earlier today. 2,420 cases have been confirmed, 50 deaths, and 49 states. And so this is a one-stop shop type of resource guide from what I've been able to ascertain from a wide variety of sources. I've been researching a wide variety of sources to be able to share this information with you. The one thing that's recommended from health officials is to practice social distancing. So making sure that we are not going to great extremes to be touchy-feely with everyone right now. I've seen a lot of the elbow, fist bump, stuff like that happening. So making sure that we do the fist bump, which fist bump's still a lot of touching, and the elbow, but maintaining 6 feet apart and separation. There have been no fatalities yet regarding children. So again, you can grab your notepads, grab your pens and notepads, electronic devices, capture some of the information that I'm sharing with you. As the Balance Doctor, is part of my responsibility, I believe this wholeheartedly, to keep you informed and educated about things that can impact your family and your community, your friends, church members. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. I want to make sure that each of you have this website, cdc.gov/coronavirus/19-NCOV, cdc.gov/coronavirus/19-NCOV. I want to make sure that you have these sites and information, because I want you to use this as a resource tool for you to be able to quickly identify how you can get the information that you need and from what sources. What are some of the symptoms of the coronavirus? Symptoms are fever, cough, shortness of breath, and the symptoms may appear 2 to 14 days after you've already been exposed. That's important for everyone to know, that you may have been exposed to the virus and not know it for up to 2 to 14 days later. That was some enlightening information for me. I definitely want to put a disclaimer here that this information that I'm sharing is not to alarm anyone in the community. It's to educate you, because it's information that is definitely being shared on so many different outlets. And I think it's important that all of us have a place that we can go to and a one-stop kind of shop situation to gather some of this information and to obtain it quickly. So if you're sick, here's what's recommended by the CDC. Call your doctor immediately. Avoid public areas. Make sure that you stay away from other family members or even animals. They said make sure that you stay away from even your family animals. That's important. And I didn't know that until I did this research today. Let your doctor know ahead of time that you think that you actually may be affected with the coronavirus. And if that's the case, you're notifying your doctor in advance that I'm calling because I feel like I'm experiencing these symptoms and I would like to be tested. So that's something that we do know, that the testing kits right now are extremely limited, and that's been causing significant distress for people, because people are concerned about how am I going to get tested if the testing. I'm not afraid because I 100% believe and trust in God and know that He is the author and the finisher of my faith. So as I share this information with you all, I'm not sharing it from a fear perspective. I 100% know that I'm safe in the arms of the Lord, and whatever He allows to happen is what will happen. Okay, wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds. Now, I did want to do a brief demonstration of how. Now, I'm not in front of a sink, but I'm just going to put it here in my hand briefly. When you do wash your hands, you can see the foam. So make sure that you put your finger tips and scratch it. This was something that I noticed on every video that I watched. They recommend that you actually take your fingertips and you scratch it in the palm of your hands. Then you take the soap and wash your fingers, your thumb. Both thumbs. Make sure that you do that and that you scratch in the palm of both hands for 20 seconds, and your entire hand should be lathered. Now, I'm not in front of a sink right now, so I'm not doing it at the level that I would if I was standing in front of a sink. I just have a cup of water here to kind of dry my hands back off to keep the video going without having to go to commercial break. Make sure that you do that for 20 seconds. If you do not do that for 20 seconds and you've not lathered up your hands where you've scratched your fingertips into the palm of your hand, you're not doing it correctly. And I was not doing it correctly. And so when I saw these demonstrations, it helped me significantly. And the reason I think that's so important is because many of us have children. So I've had my children actually go to the sink, and I've had them put the soap under their fingernails and make sure that their nail beds are clean. I've had them scrape under their fingernails and then lather their hands. And I've even taken like the fingernail polish off my nails. I want to see what's happening with my fingers. Okay. And scratch into the palm of your hands and then do your thumb. So do that for 20 seconds, then wash it. That was from every doctor recommendation out there. And then they did say something about lathering your wrist, but lathering your wrist, they said, was not as important as making sure that your full hand was covered and your fingernails and fingertips, as well as both thumbs, because the first thing we do is touch our fingers with these two, the thumb and the first finger, the forefinger, right? Okay, anyway, if you're going to use hand sanitizer, make sure that it's 60% alcohol based. 60% alcohol based. People that are higher risk for coronavirus are older adults that have heart disease, diabetes, and lung disease, which is, in a lot of our population with the diabetes and heart disease. So people are at higher risk if they are in those categories. Again, this is from the Centers for Disease Control, and I shared the website. I'll make sure that I reference that several times throughout our communication, cdc.gov/coronavirus/19-NCOV. And make sure that you clean your hands frequently. Disinfect countertops and any surface areas. Make sure that you disinfect and sanitize those areas frequently. Quarantine yourself if you know that you're having symptoms. It doesn't take a kit to come in for you to know that you're experiencing some symptoms that are problematic. if you're having certain types of symptoms that are already described, the fever, the cough, shortness of breath, make sure that you officially quarantine yourself and don't wait to be asked by others to. Again, knowing that the symptoms could take sometimes 2 to 14 days before you officially even know that, wow, I actually have this disease. Let the doctor know that you are coming to the doctor to be tested for this coronavirus specifically. So they're not just thinking you're coming because, oh, I think I'm kind of sick, I'm not sure how I'm feeling. No, tell them, I believe that I have symptoms of coronavirus, and that's why I would like to come and get checked. Clean your cell phone. Now, my cell phone right now is being used on one of the other devices here. But literally throughout today, what I've done since I've seen this, I saw it on Entertainment Tonight, and it was another source that I saw it on. But actually, people did a demonstration on how many times they touched other surface areas before they even got to work. And the one lady demonstrated that she had touched the stairwell, she had touched the door handle, she touched the toilet seats, she took the toilet stool to flush the stool, she touched, she got a cup of coffee. There were like 11 different things that she touched, then picked her cell phone up and started talking on her cell phone, which, where is it? It's right on our face when we're talking on our cell phone, unless you have it on speakerphone at all times, which most people don't. So OMG, making sure that your surface is cleaned frequently. Now, how do you clean it? She demonstrated on, and again, this was on Entertainment Tonight, I think it was. Anyway, she demonstrated that you could actually use a Clorox wipe, and then there's some kind of big machine that can actually sanitize your cell phone, which I don't think most people in America don't have that, to my understanding, because I had never even seen it, but it was still very enlightening. So make sure you clean your cell phone surface. Now, what I actually did was I used my hand soap and cleaned mine, as well as the Clorox wipe, because I wanted to make sure that I cleaned the surface good. All right, let's see. Okay. The Boston Marathon, these are some things that have been delayed, postponed, closed. And again, through my research, I thought it would be good to put it all right here for you guys. The Boston Marathon, if you're planning to run the Boston Marathon, it is delayed. It's not happening. And all of you that are on watching my show are from all over the world. So it's not just where I'm located. So that's why I'm sharing nationwide information. Boston schools are also closed, so make sure that you know come Monday, they will not be going to their public schools. If you're interested from a television perspective, Jimmy Kimmel, he actually made a joke and was saying the whole world is going to Perel in a handbasket. I thought that was pretty cute. But anyway, I think to my understanding, their show, General Hospital, the Ellen DeGeneres show, their audiences are not there, and so they're participating in making sure that people are not in large numbers in their audience as well. From a sports perspective, the Masters, NASCAR racing have also been postponed, and we know about the NBA already. A lot of you have heard about the Utah Jazz player Rudy Gobert and how he has apologized. At first, I don't know if you saw when he did the press conference, but there was a press conference and he wasn't feeling that well, but he definitely didn't think that he had coronavirus. So all he was trying to do was be like, okay, everybody calm down, and went and touched all the mics. And even the media thought it was pretty entertaining that he would do that, because he's like, everybody relax, relax, relax. Well, he actually tested positive for coronavirus and did make a formal apology that he did not know that he had the disease when he actually touched the microphones. He obviously would not have pulled that prank if he knew that he was actually a carrier of carrying the disease. So U.S. cruise ships have been stopped as well. Apple, which we all know, Apple stores, they say that they are closing their doors from a perspective of being where everybody's coming into the building. So I'm not exactly sure what their solution is going to be, because I didn't delve further, but I do know that if you have Apple products and you like to learn more, you can definitely visit their website. this is something that I thought would be good for you to at least be aware in case you're running into some challenge and you're like, oh my God, what's happening? Well, they said, they're closing. So anyway, social distance again is encouraged. Make sure that you keep that in mind. At least 20 million students are being impacted with school closings that will last a minimum of 2 weeks. Now, this is nationwide, everyone. A minimum of 2 weeks. Over 20 million students are being impacted with school closings that will last a minimum of 2 weeks. Someone is typing a comment. The CDC recommends that all U.S. schools close for 8 weeks. Yes, that's correct, Sean. All schools are being recommended that a minimum of 8 weeks that the schools be closed. And please do exactly what Sean is doing. If you have information that you think would be good for me to put out here on our resource guide while we're all here together, please type it in the comment section and I'll spit it out right here so people will have that information. Again, I'm sharing information as the Balanced Doctor, Kim Jacobs, the Balanced Doctor, on the Kim Jacobs Show and here on my Facebook Live to let you all know some of the resources that I've come across and thought it could be very helpful to you. Some of the states that are closing their public schools have already made formal announcements that they are closing their public schools are the state of Alabama, Alaska, Delaware, Illinois, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Michigan, New Mexico, Ohio, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Utah, Virginia, Washington, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. Make sure you make note of that. So that's very important to know. South Carolina Board of Medical Examiners and State Board of Nursing. For all of you nursing professionals, guess what? They will issue temporary licenses to out-of-state medical professionals, physicians, medical nurses during the outbreak. Governor Henry McMaster out of South Carolina actually issued that statement, and I thought that would be something for you guys to be aware of. So if you are a medical professional in the state of North Carolina, state of South Carolina, I'm sorry. In the state of South Carolina, they are willing to issue you a temporary license, medical license, nursing license, or medical license to be able to operate in the state of South Carolina during our specific pandemic situation that's happening here. Another key thing to note, if your employer has reduced your hours or shut down employment insurance claim, which is called a UIC claim, but there's a caveat. You must remain available and able to work during the unemployment time frame. And the pay typically ranges between $40 to $450 per week. Now, this information was obtained from the San Francisco Office of Financial Empowerment. So this applies in San Francisco, California is who this is applying to. But in your own local areas, make sure that you find out what the employment situation is, which is called unemployment insurance claim, that you can actually look into in your own local areas, whatever that local area is for you. Piedmont Natural Gas and Duke Energy have suspended disconnection notices due to watched, and I thought it actually kind of brought me to tears to know that there is discrimination taking place in our communities towards Asian community members or people that are of Vietnamese and Chinese descent. They are being targeted and treated very badly literally because of race, which is unfortunate. And I'm a woman of African-American descent, so I obviously can relate to anybody that talks from a discrimination perspective. I don't want to see that happen to anyone because it's a form of bullying. So I really pray that people would not do that and do it to others as we would have done unto us. So the word of God clearly tells us to just treat our neighbors the way we'd want to be treated. And I don't think any of us would want for somebody in this particular instance on a subway, the man was asking an Asian American to move out of his seat. And the man wouldn't move because he's like, I'm just sitting here, I'm not doing anything. And he said, well, if you don't move, I'm going to do something. So the man gets up and actually sprays Febreze over all onto the man. Wow. What gives you the right to start spraying Febreze on another human being? I think that's kind of going too far. Don't you? Man, when people start doing cruel things like that, it's not cool. It's not right. And God sees all things. So let's be mindful that even though this situation is at pandemic status type of thing, we don't have to lower ourselves to being cruel to other human beings. And there are so many other stories. I will tell you one, but this is one little kind of funny one to me. It may not be funny. It's probably still bad. So please forgive me for laughing. But I saw a picture I think it was Instagram or something. I saw a picture. This is kind of like a commercial break, okay? Even though I'm not officially taking a commercial break. But I saw this one man and his eyes were stretched. He was like, his eyes was really, really stretched, right? And on there, somebody, normally when somebody coughs or sneezes, you'll be like, God bless you, God bless you, or hey, bless you, whatever, right? But in this case, the man was like, nobody be like, don't you do that. So nobody's in the spirit of God bless you when they hear somebody cough or sneeze. They're like, did you get checked? Do you have the virus? People immediately start thinking that even if it's just a cough or a tickle in a person's throat, and now everybody has the virus. It's kind of crazy. It's funny. Oh, okay. BusinessInsider.com to get a full listing of the colleges and universities that have closed or that will actually be having online courses and moving to that. Most colleges have been extending their spring breaks and just telling people that they'll resume back to class with the online classes. But some of the schools that I'll note are Harvard University, Cornell University, Yale, New York University, Fordham University, Columbia University. And a full listing is available. Full listing can be found on BusinessInsider.com. BusinessInsider.com. Okay, is this helpful so far? Because I have some more to share with you, but I just want to make sure that this is information that you want to be able to have this one-stop shop type of situation where you come here, you can learn some information without having to watch 60 videos and learn what you need to learn here on the Kim Jacobs Show, right on YouTube, and gather the information, know where you can still get more information, because what I'm sharing is just like a little smattering of it all. But once you go back and watch those actual videos, you can learn a lot more. As the coronavirus pandemic spreads, churches from all denominations are honoring the directions from the health and government officials to not gather in large numbers. Now, I didn't specify which denominations because I went through and researched, and they are from every denomination. So it's not like this denomination is choosing not to, and this one is. Each church, one thing that I will share with you is that each people the congregants, the parishioners come together or not. So it hasn't been mandated in every state that the churches will not come together. And so it depends upon your local church. Make sure that you check with your local pastors to determine if they will be having services online or if they're going to be having service in the actual congregation in the building. And if you do attend a church and you're going into a building, make sure you just use the same precautions you would if you were going to any other public place. Cough in your in your arm. Do not cough open where you're just putting it out to the general public, making sure instead of, hey, turn to your neighbor, God bless, turn to your neighbor, give a high five and hug and a kiss and all that. No, how about we just God bless everybody. A general corporate God bless you. God bless you all. Okay. Anyway, I definitely know that the different leaders from a spiritual perspective are being led by God on how they are going to handle their own local congregations. So I am not speaking on any church's behalf, just letting you know that across the board, churches from all denominations are honoring the direction from the health officials and the government officials. I know, and I'm not even going to start naming churches because it ranges from Catholic to Baptist to Pentecostal, you name it, all across the board. They're all doing a variety of things. But I just wanted to touch on that as well. Dr. Oz has been all over the place. So if you research him, and I'm like, hey, Dr. Oz, I'm Kim Jacobs, the Balance Doctor. I cannot believe I haven't even been on your show yet. What is the problem? I'm here talking about you on my show. I'm getting ready to give major kudos and plugs to you, Dr. Oz, but you haven't had Kim Jacobs, the Balance Doctor, on the Dr. Oz show. What? Don't you want to know what the Balance Doctor, what BD stands for? Anyway, Dr. Oz has officially been all over the place talking about the importance of making sure that we wash our hands 20 seconds, make sure that we get at least 7 hours of sleep. The 7 hours of sleep is something I hadn't heard anyone else talk about until I heard it from one of his comments. And he said that's so important that we get the proper rest and proper exercise during this particular time. Eliminate any face touching with your own hands. Obviously, don't just go around constantly touching your face, and disinfect surfaces. I saw him on a news broadcast today, and he was saying literally that on the surface of the news desk that he was being interviewed on, he was saying that the virus could last up to 9 days on that particular surface. So making sure that you disinfect frequently is so important. Do not shake hands with people right now. Germs can live for up to 9 days. He talked about that. And if you have elderly parents, which 3 people on that particular broadcast had elderly parents in their 80s, Dr. Oz recommended the virus yourself. That was an important thing that I hadn't thought of because most people immediately flock to their elderly parents. So that's important to note. The virus does not like moisture, he said. So get a humidifier. The virus doesn't like warmth. Some of the symptoms we've already talked about: fever, fatigue, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, but it takes at least 1 to 2 weeks, and it can incubate for 1 to 2 weeks before you even know that you have the virus. According to Dr. Kavita Patel, she's a former aide to Valerie Jarrett in the Obama administration, there's no greater risk for women that are pregnant. Make sure you know that. You don't have a greater risk because you're pregnant to be exposed to the coronavirus. But there were 9 cases in the Lancet journal that she talked about where the mothers did have fetal distress that led them to have C-sections. And all of the babies survived. One had a little more difficult complications, but all of the children survived. That's important to note. If you have court coming up, make sure you check your website of your local courthouse because a lot of court cases have been rescheduled for a minimum of about 30 days from now. So make sure you check that. I hope that this information is helpful to you because it was helpful to me when I was gathering all of the information to share with you. And I really was like, oh, I can't wait to tell my followers and people in the community what's happening. Signs that, $1 billion decision was made. This is a $1 billion decision by Disney World, Universal, Orlando Resort, SeaWorld, Legoland, all in Orlando, Florida, are shutting down on Sunday. So tomorrow they will shut down, and not sure when they will reopen, but 126 million visitors visit every year to Disney World. But they're closing because they want to consider people and safety first. I thought that was very admirable. Also, Disneyland, Six Flags, Knott's Berry Farms are also closing. Some interest payments on student loans are being suspended, so check with your student loan provider to find out if your interest payments are being suspended. These are just things that I've researched throughout the day. Drive-through test sites are being worked on currently. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I heard somebody talk about that was talking about the president, which drive-through testing sites are being worked on. Okay, we talked about the cell phones and making sure that we clean those frequently. Dr. Jana Broadhurst is on the front line of testing in the University of Nebraska. She said that her team, they've created a way to do testing that the results can come back within 4 to 6 hours. I thought that was pretty admirable, and can't wait to learn more about how that's going to get out into the general population. We know that the biggest number of cases have come from Life Care Center in Kirkland, Washington, and 22 people were affected that are affiliated with that facility alone have contracted the coronavirus, 18 directly from that location. One thing that was controversial that I learned today from that location was that the staff are still able to go and come to work. They are not quarantined, which caused major concern for some of the community members. And so I thought I would bring that to your attention. A lot of the children, many of the children to the adult parents that are in the facility were on the outside on the window area talking to their loved ones because they're not able to enter the facility. So make sure that you know that if you have someone that's a loved one in a nursing home, the people are not trying to be cruel to you. They're trying to make sure that whatever is happening from the outside does not come into the facility, because the people that are in the facility with the average age of 80, they are more susceptible to this particular type of virus. So don't be hard on the nursing home providers. Be understanding and find out what you can do to still be creative and spend time with your loved one. I saw 2 ladies today, they did a picnic with their mom, but it was just that they were on the outside. Times bestseller. This is actually about a book that was written in 1981, May 10th, 1981. The genre was suspense. Chinese scientists, here's what it said in there. Chinese scientist Li Chen defected to the United States carrying a disc record of China's most important and dangerous biological weapon in a decade called Wuhan 400, developed at rDNA labs outside of Wuhan. And this was the prediction back from 1981, now for 2020. It says, in around 2020, and this is a quote, a severe pneumonia-like illness will spread throughout the globe, attacking lungs and bronchial tubes and resisting any known treatments. Almost more baffling, the illness itself will be that it will come suddenly and vanish just as quickly as it came. This was something that was, and then it's going to come back 10 years from now and then disappear completely. That's just something that was in a best-selling book type of thing by this one author, and I thought that was an interesting thing to share. The final things that I want to make sure that I leave you with tonight are some scriptures, because again, I am a woman of faith. I love the Lord and I trust him and know that he has us all covered and that he's not going to let things happen to us that he doesn't allow. So in Luke 21:15, let's go there. Luke 21:15. And this is actually, these are scriptures that were given from a website that I saw a lot of presidential pictures in the president's campaign on there, but I actually received it from another church, a prophetess that is Evangelist Walton has shared it with me. But the site itself is definitely, I think it's Intercessors or something for Prayer of America, if I'm not mistaken. But it talks about maybe about 20 different things from a spiritual perspective, and panic was one. And then in there, it gives the solution, and God gives wisdom. And the scripture that's given is Luke 21:15. And so Luke 21:15 says, "For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all of your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. Sickness," which coronavirus, but it's lots of other things. We know SARS, we talk, it's so many different things, that the flu-like symptoms and heart disease and other things that take people out at astronomical rates. But sickness, God is our healer. He's our healer. Proverbs 3, let's go there. Proverbs 3, 7-8. And it says, Proverbs chapter 3, verses 7-8. "Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil." God is our healer. He's the one that can heal our bodies. And I believe in miraculous healings because I've witnessed it myself with people that have just been near death experiences and God performed a miracle. Actually, one of the people that's on here watching right now had stage 3 cancer, and she was literally had ovarian cancer, and God has completely healed her body, and she is now cancer free. And that's my sister, Ruth Jacobs. Ruth Jacobs just rung the bell because she knows that God is a healer. God has healed her body and removed cancer from her body. And you could not make anybody that just looked at her from the outside not believe that it was a near-death experience, because she was dwindling. Her hair is gone. Everything looks like it's near death. But guess what? God healed her body. Chaos, disorder. God is peace. 1 Corinthians 14 and verse 33. 1 Corinthians 14, verse 33. And it says, for God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints. God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints. So if you're dealing with chaos and disorder, remember that. Contagious things. The spirit of isolation. God is our loving Father, and that's in 1 John 3 and 1. Let's look at that. 1 John 3 and 1. Behold, what manner of love this Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God. Therefore the world knoweth us not, because it knew him not. So we got to know that that God is our Savior. I mean, that he's our Father. He's our loving Father. And that spirit of, oh my gosh, it's contagious, spirit of isolation. Remember 1 John 3 and 1. The final one I'll share with you is fear. God is trustworthy. In Psalms 27 and 1, let's go there. Psalm 27 and 1. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Guess what? The Lord is our strength and our light. Woo! He's the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? I encourage you all today, with all of the information that I shared from my research on lots of different platforms, that you take the information, that we abide by the laws of the land, because we are a part of the land. And so we should abide by the laws of the land. But remember, whatever your spiritual belief is, whatever higher power you hang your soul on, then take comfort in knowing that you are in the hands of your master, whatever your master is for you. For me, I'm in the hands of my Lord, my Savior, Jesus Christ, as he guides and leads me and takes me to my Heavenly Father. And I know that God is in control of all things, and including the coronavirus. He either he'll allow things to happen or he won't. That's his choice. Because regardless of whether we pass from a situation or not, he's still able to prevent us from doing it if he chose to. But anyway, I hope that the Balanced Doctors Resource Guide time has been helpful to you regarding coronavirus, COVID-19. As I get more information, I'll be happy to share it with you if you found this to be helpful. And if you have different people have different things happening from a job perspective, so you may have a need for some help in some areas. And so reach out and say, Kim, and I may not be the person that can personally help you, but I may be able to connect you to a resource that can get you the help that you need. You may need someone that I saw some people volunteering to provide meals for children while the parents are working. You may have someone that you need to do some virtual assistant office work from home, and you can pay them a fee to do that. Let me know. I have lots of connections with people that are looking for opportunities. I actually started a Mother Dreamer movement, and I have a group of mothers that would be perfect to do some office behind the scenes, remote work from home jobs to be able to help you with your various businesses as you may be having to still go out to work, but you need somebody that's helping you remotely. I can help in different regards, and I have a whole team of people that would be more than willing to do some remote office work for you. So don't assume that you don't have help. Reach out and inbox me, comment to me privately, communicate, Kim at thebalancedoctor.tv, and you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. Oh, my phone must be getting ready to die. Okay. But you'll be very surprised how much help you can actually get. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and disconnect, and I hope that this information was helpful to each of you. And please make sure we stay connected. Subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show and turn on your notifications. And if you haven't subscribed, go to YouTube, subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show and turn on your notifications. Comment, share with your friends and your family. Have a great day, everybody, and I will talk with you soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, everyone. Okay. Take care, everybody.